Hello and welcome back. I'm so excited to be with you today on this show. I have a really juicy topic and we're going to dive right in. I just really have a high value on time and being efficient. And I feel like this is a topic that really kind of gets me riled up. So let's dive in and talk about mom judgment. I alluded to it a few weeks ago. If you guys caught the podcast, we've kind of been doing a series around different, mom scenarios. We talked about how to be a calm mom, how to be a confident mom. We have talked about the mom truths. We've talked about mom guilt, and now we're talking about mom judgment. And I would just like to know, why do we feel the need to judge other moms? Where does that come from? Because usually when we have a behavior, when we have a habit, when we have something that we project on somebody else, it more often has to do with us, right? And that's a really great reminder for when somebody comes against you and they have something negative to say. I'm not talking constructive criticism, that's a whole nother topic, but if they come like against you and they kind of have something negative to say, usually know that that's more about them than it is about you. And something that we have done has probably triggered that. So I guess I would like to know, why are so many moms walking around triggered and feeling the need to judge other moms? It doesn't help anybody. And I've shared, this whole month on the challenges of motherhood and how hard it can be and how isolating it is and how we really need to support each other rather than coming against each other and judging one another. And so I think it might be helpful to share some things that we can all do today proactively to really kind of stop that judgment. And I think the hard thing with judgment is that we may not even realize that we're doing it. Like, it might just be so ingrained in us and we just might be so in the habit of doing it that we don't even know that we're doing it. This was me. I was a big judger, real big judger, because I was so broken and so hurting and had so much pain that I thought if I could judge someone and talk down about them, it would lift me up. And really, it doesn't do that. It just made me feel crappy all the way around. But I think the biggest thing on my journey that's been super helpful, and I want you to walk away from this podcast today with, is replace judgment with curiosity. And that may look like, let's talk through how to do this, may look like being in a park. And you may see a mom who maybe her kid is running around half naked. And maybe that mom looks like she's totally checked out and she's on her phone and she's not paying attention. And I think it would be real easy at first glance to judge that mom and say her child is half naked. She's not even paying attention. She's on her phone. Wow. And then we create this story in our mind of what kind of mom she could be. Whereas if we would replace that and maybe get curious and ask, child is half naked. Mom appears to be kind of checked out, maybe on her phone. I wonder what's going on. Like, I wonder why. What could be causing that, right? And maybe that would even prompt us to engage in a conversation with her. Hey, I see your child is half naked. Can I help? Can I do something? Do you need anything? And maybe that would create a conversation where you could learn a little bit of her story and her journey, and there's probably a really good reason why those things are happening in her life. But if we just sit back and we judge and we make assumptions, is that helping the world? Is that helping the mom that's in a really tough situation that maybe doesn't know how to ask for help? I don't think it is. So I think if we can learn to replace that judgment with curiosity, and this applies to social media as well, if perhaps you see a post of a friend that you don't agree with or you don't like or you don't care for, instead of maybe coming at that person, trying to prove your point, telling them why they're wrong, telling them why you're right and why they should follow you and listen to you and do it your way and blah, blah, blah. Maybe ask questions. Maybe try to understand why they see things so differently than you do. Because I would guarantee you that their come from is super different than your come from. And sometimes we just need to understand one another a little bit better. And when we understand another person's come from, We can have more empathy. We can have more compassion. We can have more curiosity because we know their story. We know a little bit of who they are and why maybe they're showing up the way that they are. That makes sense? So my encouragement and my takeaway for you today is to replace judgment with curiosity. And you know what? Maybe let's back it up a step because that might be really hard for some of you. It would have been really hard for me a few years ago. So maybe what we need to do is we just need to be aware of when and if we're judging. Maybe that's an even better first step. And then if you feel like you are aware that you are judging, maybe that's when we can take that a step further and we can replace that judgment with curiosity. But I guarantee you, friends, this is a game changer in so many areas of your life. It can change your relationship with food. It can change your relationship with your spouse. It can change your relationship with your kids. It can change your relationship with yourself. Replace judgment with curiosity. There's plenty of judges out there in the world. We see them every day on social media. What if we could be more curious and more compassionate? I think that would go a lot further in the world. So thanks for being here. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you next week. Bye.